You know, we think we know people, but you really don't know folk until you get to live with them. And so Jesus lived with his disciples some 3 to 3.5 years. And so he understood them. Not that he needed to be with them that long. He knew them inside and out, even without doing that. But he lived with them. And so he saw their mood swings. He saw their attitudes. He saw their faults and their issues that they were involved with in this life. But yet, he loved them and stuck by them and believed in them and held them in his love. Yet, with all their issues and problems and concerns. And so when the Bible says we have a high priest that can be touched with our infirmities, sure enough he can. Not just because he went through them, but he saw us go through them and he recognized the things that we are going through in this life. But how did Jesus love his disciples and also us certainly? He loved them with a visible love. See, there are too many folks that got an awful lot to say. See, a lot of time we are a noun, a kind of a people. What I mean by that is we love folk with the concept. The concept of love, that sounds good. We can talk all about it, but we need to be the verb part. That's action. We need to show our love. And Jesus was visible with his love. He showed his love to his disciples. He also loved them with a forgiving spirit. Let's check the book. In the book of Mark, chapter 16, around verse number 7, I believe it is. Mark 16, around verse number 7. Watch what the Bible says there. Mark 16, around verse number 7. We find these words. But go your way, tell his disciples, and make sure you tell Peter that he goeth before you into Galilee. There shall you see him, as he said unto you. The Bible says after Jesus had risen from the dead, he wanted to make sure to tell his disciples to meet me where? In Galilee. But what's interesting is he just didn't mention the disciples, and Peter is a part of the disciples, but he specifically also mentioned Peter. What's my point? He wanted Peter to know, I know you denied me. I know you cussed and you sweared. But I want you to know that I've forgiven you, Peter. And so what are we saying? Jesus loved them with a forgiving heart. Now, with that in mind, let's remember what the text is teaching. Jesus says again, if you want folk to know that you belong to me, you need to love who? One another. But how? As I have loved you. Now, let's talk for a while, church, about that. Let's look at some down to earth ways that can be seen. Well, let's check the book. One of the first ways is that when we have those of us, members of the Lord's church, of the church family, when we have folk of us that have been wounded, that have been wounded, that have fallen down, Satan has grabbed them, they have allowed Satan to trip them up. What does the church do? Do we now take the wounded and we shoot them and kill them while they're hurting and while they're dead or while they're dying? What does the world see? Does the world see us eating up our own folk? Let's check the book. In the book of Galatians chapter 6, around verse 1, verse number 2. Let's see what the Bible says. Galatians chapter 6, around verse number 1, verse number 2. What does the world see among folk who claim to be the children of God? Let's check the book. In Galatians 6, around verse 1 and 2, we find these words. The Apostle Paul says, brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, now he says the spiritual, restore such a one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. Bear ye one another's burden, and so fulfill the law of Christ. And so, he says very clearly that how the church ought to respond to a brother or sister that has been overtaken with sin is not now to rub it up in their face and talk about them, but we need to come to their rescue and try to restore them. Does the world see us doing that to one another? Love says we would be caring for a hurting brother or a hurting sister. Well, does that mean that we condone their sin? No. Love does not do that. Love is not happy about someone that has committed sin. And I want to be very clear here. Love says we still need to tell folk the truth, but teach them in love. Let's check the book. In the book of Ephesians chapter 4, around verse number 15, let's check the book. Ephesians chapter 4, around verse number 15. Listen to what the Bible says. In Ephesians 4, around verse number 15, we find these words. But speaking the truth now, how? In love, we grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Christ. And so, love says, loving one another says, when you're wrong, I ought to tell you that you're wrong. But it's a way of how you do it. Now, see, folk today are sometimes scared, or we're thinking about being too politically correct to call some things out as they ought to. What I mean by that is, if we got a brother or sister that maybe say that's a homosexual, yes, I don't mind saying that because that in some cases that is. But here's the point. See, we ought not to accentuate that sin that is so bad that we forget about the fornicator. See, if I can talk about the fornicator, if I can talk about the liar, then I ought to be able to talk about someone that is homosexual. What I'll be saying, that one sin ought not to be glamorized as being so ugly, while other sins are just as ugly and will take one to hell. But my point is, there's nothing wrong with me trying to help my brother or my sister, whatever condition they're in, if they are in sin. If I love him, I'm going to tell him. But let me share something with you what love does. Let's check the book. In the book of Ephesians, not Ephesians, I'm sorry, but the book of 1 Peter chapter 4, around verse number 8. Let's check the book. In 1 Peter 4, around verse 8, Peter writes these words. He says, and above all things, watch this now, have fervent charity, that is fervent love now. Watch this here. For charity or love shall cover the multitudes of sin. That's interesting. What is he saying? See, when you truly love someone, if they have messed up, if they have sinned, what you will basically do is this. You will hide their sins. That is, in the sense of not broadcasting their sin. You're going to certainly stand up and call sin a sin, but you're not going to try to ruin that brother and sister and cast their sins all over the world, because love does not do that. Love hides or covers that. It does not broadcast, it does not spread it, because you're more interested in saving that brother or that sister than in telling the world that they are in sin. And so for a little while, if there's someone today, we need to start right now. I want you to recognize you need to believe in Jesus. You need to repent of your sins. You need to confess, and you need to be baptized. And we discover that folk who did that became children of God. May God bless you and bless you real.